I've got something I want to get off of my chest. And it's something I should have said a while ago, but I'm going to do it today. And I'm going to do it because I had a dream last night, and it was about something that happened years ago. Something that got into me and got me really angry years ago. And the reason I want you to sit down and watch this video is because it's about you as much as it is about me. You may not get it at first, but if you stick around long enough, you will understand what I'm on about. Back in 1982 or 83, can't remember the year exactly, I was travelling on the fairgrounds. I was 22, maybe 23. I'd come away from Ipswich Carnival and was going to open at Royston on the green. Well, it's not a green, it's actually a heath, and it's like that. When you get onto the ground, you've got to go a certain way. I didn't, I went a different way. And as a result of it, the back wheels of my lorry and the coupling on the back got caught in a dip, and my back wheels got taken off the ground and was spinning in the air. And so I got stuck. I had to get somebody with one of the other lorries on the fairground to get on the front and yank me over it so that I was free. This was done and I built up. However, that night in the pub, it was the talk of everybody. It was so funny. I got stuck in this dip that I shouldn't have got stuck in, and it was highly hilarious, and everybody thought it was great. Except for me. I sat there listening as I heard everybody else's view of this, because it had taken place in front of loads of people. And the more they talked about it, the more embarrassed I got. And for years, this event, it became known as the Royston event. And it got talked about every time I happened to turn up. We'd be talking in a group of people and someone went, "Oh, you should have been at Royston when he got stuck in the dip." It was so funny. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at the time, and it wasn't then. Let's take it forward to 2016. I'm at my cousin's funeral. I'm now 56. And we're in a bar. And we're stood at the bar after the funeral. And I'm talking to a group of people that I know. And a friend of mine walks up. And we start talking. And he brings up the Royston event. That happened when I was 22. It was now, I was 56. And this event was brought up again. I was angry. Real angry. But I didn't say anything because it was a funeral. I didn't want to cause a problem. So this conversation went on and everybody had a good laugh about it, except for me. I still didn't find it funny. And I went home the next day and I was angry. I went on Facebook and I wrote this post, great big long rant about it. Didn't name the person, but I knew it would get back to him. The funny thing was, I saw him again, maybe 6 months later, at another funeral. This time he didn't come anywhere near me. Didn't talk to me. Every time I walked anywhere in his vicinity, he turned around and walked away. So I knew he knew. And last night, my dream brought this back to me. My question is, have you ever been in a situation where something that happened to you so long ago was brought up to embarrass you once again and to make you feel like that by a friend? Because they're not your friend. They're not someone you can rely on. And that happens to you all the time. And in this day and age of social media, it's not changed one iota. There are still people out there. Now you get strangers do it. Strangers, you will write something or you will say something or you will do something, and some stranger will dive in and pull you apart mentally. And it will hurt you. You'll have friends that you've had for a lifetime who will say things to make you look small. I'm here to tell you they're not your friends. I did a video a couple of weeks ago. So far, it's had 15,000 views. But I had this guy from Canada who decided that I was nothing but a drip and he didn't like what I had to say. So I thought he'd tell me. Never heard of him before. I didn't, he actually subscribed to the channel. But each time he spoke to me on the channel or went into the comments, he put something that was slightly insulting, but in an underhanded way. So it's how you read it. But he did this 2 or 3 times. Then he called me a liar over something that I'd said. And then he started on about this and that and the other. And I went in and clicked the button to remove him from my YouTube. I let this one person get in here. I let him into my mind. I let him into my house. He invaded it and made me feel awful for a little while. Since I've been doing YouTube, I've had a few of them. I had the guy who said that the best thing I could do on YouTube was leave it. I've had all sorts of little comments. And this is what I want you to know, right? They're little people. They're people who have nothing in their life. They're people that will go on, put something on there, hoping they get a response because they're so little that they need you to get upset to make them feel better. And it's not just on YouTube and it's not just on Facebook. It's in your life. Those people are out there and they're all nobody. They're all nothing. And I've had enough of it. I've really had enough of it. I do this channel to encourage, to help people. I do this channel these days as well as that because I didn't know it when it started because I'm old. I found out that you could make some money out of this. And I decided not so long back, I made a video and I did say it, that I'm 64. When I get to 66, I'm entitled to a pension from which I'll earn 2/3 of what I'm earning now. So it won't be no good to me. So I decided that I'm going to make this channel and I'm going to work it and I'm still going to do the stuff that I've always do, but I'm going to try and make it earn enough money to bridge that gap when I finish work so that I've got that extra money so I can live at the standard that I do now. And fools like this guy who decided that he was going to rip into me think they're going to stop me. Well, they're not. Why am I telling you this? Because the little people of the world, those little toe rags who do their best to upset you, and often do, are not going to get their way. This isn't about me. It happens to you. Don't tell me it doesn't. You know there are people out there who run you down, who do you down. And if you allow it to happen, if you allow them in here, they are going to stop you doing what you want in life because you'll be embarrassed by what you're doing. I've not told hardly anyone, certainly none of my friends, about this YouTube channel because I don't need the hassle. Because I know that they'll come and they'll look at it and they'll go, ha, 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 ha. He's only had 100 people look at that video. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to become a multi-millionaire because of this. And yet, I ask myself, how many times have they put themselves in front of a group of people and spoken, and 100 people have listened to them? Or in the case of the video the other day, 15,000. Let me ask you, them people that put you down, them people that have to have their say, when you look at them, what have they achieved? I would pretty much hazard a guess that they've achieved sod all, nothing. And the reason they've achieved nothing is because they've never put themselves on the line and put themselves out there to do it themselves. There was an occasion, right? I've got to tell you, years and years ago, I lost my business. And in the years that I started to regrow it, try and start again and get over, I joined a hospital radio station locally to us. And one of the jobs you had to do when you joined the hospital radio was to go around request collecting around the wards. And as you went around the wards, these people, you would sit there and you would talk to them. And sometimes some of those people were quite lonely and they hadn't got visitors or anything. So not only were you taking their request for a radio show, you sat there and listened to them. And you were like the shoulder, the shoulder that they lean on and tell their story. And it gave me an insight into things that I didn't really have before. And it sort of changed the way in which I think. Anyway, after a couple of years, I had nothing. I'd lost my home, I'd lost my car, I'd lost my business, nothing. And yet a couple of years later, I was voted onto the committee. And then the year after that, I was made chairman of the hospital radio station. No biggie. But I realised at the meeting where they voted for who they wanted to be the chairman, people said that the stuff that I was doing this and I was doing that and making things better. I didn't realise it. I just thought I was doing me. Years later, well, not years later, 1996, I suppose it was, I took my eldest son to a football match at our local football team, Weymouth FC. Non-league, nothing special out of this world, but they were a big club in their sphere, I suppose you could say. The following year, I joined the supporters club because I got involved, as I do. A couple of years later, I was made chairman of the supporters club, so I got to sit in on the directors' board meetings to see what was going on with running this football club. A year later, I was invited onto the board in my own right. And it's quite funny because I had nothing. I was no big shot. As I looked around the board, there was the chairman who owned a publishing company, the vice chairman who owned a couple of shops in the town, other committee meters, one owned an insurance firm, two of them owned a big engineering firm in the town, all well-moneyed, successful men. And they invited little old me on there. And I got on the board and it was all honky-dory. And the funny thing is, I live just outside Cambridge these days. But then I went to a match at Cambridge. We were playing Cambridge City. And I'm sat in the stand and our manager that day decided to play somebody in the wrong position as an attacking player. And yet we had one left at home who had played in midweek. This is probably boring you, this bit, but there's a point to it. So bear with me. So anyway, through the game, I was talking to another director and saying, this manager, what's he doing? He said, why is he doing this? And I have to tell you, this manager had got us promoted and had been very, very successful. But I had to have my say. I felt he was wrong. Anyway, someone told him. And me and this manager had few words. And I decided that being the least successful director on the board, I should offer my resignation. So I phoned the chairman and offered my resignation, and he went, no. And I went to the vice chairman, I offered my resignation, he said no. A couple of weeks later, we had a board meeting. I went to the board meeting, And as I'm there look two or three of them, and me were stood looking out the window over the car park. Now, in this car park, I was driving this little second-hand, years old Vauxhall Cavalier. Nothing special. And around it, there was a Mercedes and a Jaguar and a BMW and an Audi and another Jaguar and another Mercedes. You know where I'm going? And one of them went, "Oi, whose car is that in the middle?" And I looked round and I went, "It's mine." And they went, "Cool, you can get a better car, James." And I went, "No, I can't." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Because while all of you are here, you all have businesses with people working in them and you're still earning money. I'm trying to rebuild my business and I'm here. And while I'm here, I'm not earning any money. That's why I don't drive a Merc and why I don't drive a Jag." And I'll never forget it. One of the directors from the engineering firm said, "James, come and see me on Monday." And I thought to myself, oh dear, I've overstepped the mark. I'm on my way out. And so I went to see him on the Monday and I walked into his office and said, "Dave, you wanted to see me?" And he went, "Yeah, I did. Sit down." So I sat down and he said to me, "James, do you know why you're on the board?" And I went, "Not particularly. I know I do a fair bit of work around the ground." I said, "And I suppose that's why." He went, "You're right. You're damn right. We all know what you put into this football club. We all know the time that you spend in it." He said, "You phoned us round offering to resign. We value you far too much for that. We think you're the hardest working director in this club because you're always there. Every time one of us comes down there, you're there doing something. That's why you're on the board. We value your job, the work you do, and we value your opinion. Don't think of calling it a day. Don't think of offering your resignation. Your thoughts, what you say is as valid as any of us." So now go home. That's what I wanted to tell you. It was then I realised something. Over my life and over lots of our lives, we have people that we associate with who put us down. And they do it in a way often that seems to be friendly, but it isn't. You know what I'm talking about. And then you get people who are successful. And the thing I've noticed with successful people is they don't put you down. They don't run you down. They lift you up. They want you to do better. They want you to be better. And so as I go, all this roundabout story that I've been telling you for the last 15 minutes or 18 minutes or whatever it is that those trolls out there, those people that take you down, that bit by bit will eat away at you, you've got to stop them. You've got to get it in here that you are not going to take it from them. You don't have to get angry with them and fight and argue or any of that. Just leave them by the wayside. Decide that they're not your tribe. Do you remember? I used to talk about tribe a lot. They're not your tribe. They're not your people. They're not the people who care for you. And so what I'm saying is raise the antenna, look around, decide who are your people. And if they're not your people, cut them loose. And the worst thing about this is that some of those people are supposed to be the people that love you, your family. Cut them loose. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. You get one shot at it, and it's your opportunity to be as good as you can be. And you do not need to put up with the trolls of life. If you find yourself on social media, Facebook is a perfect example. I used to be on it all the time. Now I go on there every now and again. Just have a look at the people causing uproar on your timeline. Those people that have so much to say. And then when you have a look at them people that have got so much to say, just have a look at what they've got in life and see where they are. And if they're not where you want to be, ignore them. I'm going to get trolls on this channel, and I'm going to get them in the comments, and I'm going to get them all the time. And if I dare to read them and let it get to me, they're going to hold me back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that button and get the hell out of here with them. Because you deserve better. I deserve better. And the whole point of this, and the whole reason I've got to get this off my chest, is because if it's happening to me, then it'll be happening to you. You may not have a channel on YouTube, and so you may not get it in the comments. But I expect that if you do social media, there'll be someone. And there'll someone who will say something to you in your real life that will hurt. And you'll go home and you'll dwell on it, and it'll get in here, and you'll start to think less of yourself. And I'm telling you, listen to me now. Do not let them do it. Don't let them get into your space, and don't let them put you down because you are better than that. I'm doing YouTube. I've done loads of things. I've failed at loads of things, but I'm doing YouTube because I think that I have some value in this world. I think that by me telling you some of the rubbish that's happened to me, you don't have to have it happen to you. You can be in a position where you can feel better about yourself because you know who you are. Do not let them people who want to take you down get to you. Because I promise you, I ain't going to let them do it to me. They've done it enough. Every little troll in my life, and I call them all trolls now because it's the N word, but they're no more than flat track bullies. They're no more than people that want to make you feel bad so they feel better. Do not give them the chance. Dump them by the wayside and carry on your life in the way you want to. And one other thing, before I go, I just want to tell you this. I've looked at every single troll's profile on YouTube that I've had. Guess what? None of them are doing it. None of them are standing up and putting videos out and trying to build a YouTube channel themselves. They're too busy, you see, trying to take other people down to do something themselves. And if they are doing something themselves, you just want to go and have a look at their channel because it'll make you laugh. And that's it from me. I've had my little rant, I've had my little moan. And I hope that you've stuck with me to this point in the video. I know it's been a long one. And I know I've ripped into people and I've told you stuff that I've never told on Facebook before, on YouTube before, sorry. And the reason I've told you it is because I know that you deserve better. And that's it from me. If you've enjoyed the video, and I'm not sure how you could have done because it's been nothing but a rant, then please give us a like. It'll make people realise that it's not such a bad video after all. And if you want to look at something a little bit more uplifting, click that video there, and I'll see you over there.